basic golf lesson. All over the world right now, you've got golf instructors providing lessons. We're trying to raise funds for various charities. In the U.S., it's for direct relief. But as part of this whole world's biggest golf lesson, I'm happy to partner with V1 Sports, V1 app, and V1 is an awesome golf software company. It lets me do great lessons, lets you get a look at what you can do with your golf swing and transfer in, transfer out, that kind of thing, and look and analyze your golf swing. So we're here to have fun. You know, as we've all been cooped up at home with the virus, can't really do much. My observation though is that you can get a lot done at home. And I want to show you a whole lot of things you can be doing, what you can learn, what you might want to do, what you can make use of space, no matter how much you've got around the house, whether it's sitting on the couch. So let's get into some meat here. Let's get into some things that you might want to do around the house, different things you can be doing. I want to start with a putting tip. So let's get right into a putting tip. One of the best drills I've seen, Eyelight's got a great thing called a putting stick. You can use it with an alignment stick as well. Stick part of it in your chest, right in your sternum bone, put the other right between the middle of the putter. When you make some putts, boy, the symmetry of your hands, arms, and shoulders feel really good. Everything working in sync together. It should look really good for everything working as one unit. This is a great little drill you can do, just hit putts around the house, little simple things that you can be doing just to feel the symmetry of your hands, arms, and shoulders. Let's talk about one other thing with putting. What kind of putter should you use? You know, I've got two different models here. Kind of your traditional, kind of a half blade type putter, and then the typical mallet putter. I like them both, they're both good. But let me show you something. When you take this putter and just hold it, can you see how the putter sits up at the sky? It's called a face bounce putter. This putter is designed to go very straight back and straight through, and if that's the way you want to putt, then you've got to marry that with your idealized stroke and putter. When I do the same drill here, look how much it hangs. Okay, it doesn't kind of all the way toe hang, but it hangs pretty good halfway. So this putter demands that I use a little more of an arc to my stroke, where the putter's going to gate just a little bit more open and closed. I've got a couple of 2x4s. 2x4s are awesome with this putter. This putter is designed to go straight back and straight through. So if I want to get set up in my hallway, somewhere on my carpet, and putt between the 2x4s, the small boards, that's a great way to develop that square to square, ultra square path, ultra square face stroke. Arc a little bit. So at that point, got another little training aid, just a little bit of a slight board. I want to use this when I putt, because this will have just a little more of an arcing motion where the putter with the heel and the toe just gates a little bit more. Both are right, both putters are great, but make sure you pick the putter that matches the stroke and really the philosophy of what you want to do and how square and straight or slightly open and closed you want to let that happen. Should we go check some questions out? Got a lot of people sending in some notes here, want to know different things here. Got Todd 23. He wants to know about his club face gets open. Is there anything he can do? Well, around the house we've got some barbells, some dumbbells. Feels really good just to make some swings, but really an open club face means the club face wants to be open, and if you are a slicer, which most golfers are, the ball slices because the club face is open. So if you want to get a dumbbell, if you're a righty, put it in your left hand. When you get to the top of the swing, can you see how the back of my hand faces up? That's a really strong position. That's going to make the club face tend to be more closed. If you want to put it in your right hand, now you can see it's more palm at the sky. So by the time I get to the top, rather than looking this way, which is very cuppy, and the club face is open, probably going to hit a pretty good slice, that dumbbell, doing it with each hand, is going to let this get more flat, more square, and that club face is going to be more square. At that point, goodbye slice. You're not going to have that tendency to want to have the face out and come out and open. So a couple little things you can do, Todd, there if you've got the club face just a little bit off right there. Let's go back to any more questions. Got people sending stuff in. People are joining, watching us here, going live with everything. We've got Mike. Mike wants to know he's got some poor balance in his swing. Is there anything he can do to avoid some swaying? These are great things to have around the house. Fairly cheap, just balance discs. I like working on them for my posture, because by the time I get on them, man, I really got to work to not wobble. I gotta really use my core, I gotta really use my calves, I gotta really feel connected. So before I even get started, I gotta feel a lot more rooted in the ground. Now, additionally, what's really good, Mike out there, the question feels like you must have a lot of sway going on. Well, it's really good now. You can see how much air kind of bulges up there. I can make some swings, and all of a sudden, I've got pressure against my foot. I mean, there's almost no way to sway right there. So if you find yourself out there, Mike, with too much lateral motion, brace yourself. Feel that pinch. I feel a lot of pressure on the inside of my right leg and inside of my right foot. So I feel like I'm winding up with something. Regardless, winter days, before you go out to the course, love to see everybody out there. Just stand on these discs for 20 seconds. Find yourself in there, having to really work to get that balance so you're not leaning to the right, leaning to the left, and getting out of balance in some way. These are really good just for life, but they're good for teaching balance in golf. Got a lot more stuff for you here. Give you one of my good putting drills here. Grab some rubber bands. Wrap them around the putter face. And when you get it set up perfectly here, you can have some awesome feedback. These are almost a little too big, but I put part of the rubber band just on the inside where the heel is, and I put another part where the toe is. You really ought to use smaller rubber bands. These are ginormous ones. But if you can pitch this thing in the perfect context, you can end up with a rubber band. It's a little sloppy, you can do a better job, but you can get rubber band in there where you've got pretty good balance between the sweet spot. I can wind this up a little tighter, but at this point you've got a nice sweet spot with the rubber bands on each side of them, and you just keep tightening and tightening the rubber bands down until all of a sudden you've got really, really good spacing right there. Now you just go ahead and hit some putts, and if the ball comes off, off the face, that's great. If the ball comes off the rubber band, that's not going to be very good. So just a little cool rubber band drill where you put rubber bands just off of the sweet spot on the heel or toe, and that gives you feedback on whether you're going to hit it solid, not solid. Let's go back to a couple more questions here. Robert's join, Golf Pros join, Todd Deer's join. A bunch of people are joining. Let's see what one of them wants to know about. One of the things that's really kind of big right now in the golf world is trying to get a bigger swing. You want to hit it farther? Who doesn't? You hit it farther if you've got a bigger swing arc. If my arc is here and it's narrow versus here and it's wide, that bigger arc is always going to do a lot more for me and give me a lot more potential power. So same thing, I got just a stretching type band. Hopefully you'd have something like this around the house. Grab your setup and step on it. You kind of got to figure out about where the length is. That should be about perfect. When I take a swing back, man, if I go narrow, I don't feel much. I'm more slack. When I swing back now, I really got to pull that band. So my left foot stays on the ground. I pull the width as far as I can. My hands feel far from my body. I feel the complete stretch coming through this band of this tube. Ooh, does that feel good? I can really feel the bigger arc, the stretch. My hands feel far from me. I've got a pretty good radius. So if you're lacking for any kind of distance, maybe some power, this is a really good way just to feel that width out there. Something that you probably all ought to have around the house just from a stretching standpoint. These are really, really good training aids, training drills, things like that to do. Just a lot of things you can be doing. Let me check one more thing here. We want to look at one more thing here. Ball position is something that you can use around the house. You can double check. You can look at the tile you've got. I've got a tile right here. I can look down at my ball position, and then I can look this way, and I can check my alignment. Both things give me great feedback in terms of where I am. So if I want to use the tile, I put my feet together. If I want to get a wedge, I move them equally apart. If I want to hit my driver, really only move my back foot. So I can use my tile, this awesome feedback, without having to do anything more than just watch TV or get up off the couch and check it. The lines going this way give me further feedback on whether my alignment is on, not on, things like that. So that's pretty darn good. I like little simple keys like that you can use just around the house and check things like that. How about we'll We'll do one more. Oh, I've got another cool little drill that's a good one to do. If any of you out there have an issue with your takeaway, I see a lot of golfers with lessons where the club tends to roll inside. It tends to go too flat. Does that look like something you do? You know, sometimes golfers then stay flat, or quite often what they do is they lift the club up and over their head and they get it pretty bad position at the top. If that seems like your issue, just a little simple hanger around the house. Put it right down the middle of your grip. Everything's right there in the middle. Now when I take the club back, if I make my old swing, that takeaway, can you see how it goes up against my left arm? Well, if I do it correctly, that's kind of more of a one-piece takeaway. The hanger is still between my wrists, between my arms, and it gives me a great little feel for how everything should work straight back. Just some consistency right there with your takeaway, not letting it get rotated, flipped behind you, rolled. It's typically what's called as a rollaway. That's just a good, simple way to get everything in a good position right there. So I like some of these drills for around the house. Your house can be a great training device for where you want to use things like the tile, hangers, different barbells and weights and things like that. But once we go beyond all of this, how about we then see outside the house? You know, I don't know how much yard you have, but if everybody's got just a little piece of grass somewhere they could hop outside, as most of us were stuck without anything to do, let's go outside and show you some chipping things that are really good, some drill that you can do for some games that are going to give you a different feel. So we're going to move outside. We've got everything set up. We've got everything set up here. Use various things, and all I've done is just get some creativity started. All I've done is set some things up here. To 10 yards is all the spacing you might need to play a few games right here. So let's go through a few things that you might be able to do here. Now, working with golfers all day long, one of the things that when you've got your lob wedge out, you're using your most lofted club, you see so many amateur golfers with this problem. They go to chip it, at the moment of truth, they go backwards. Okay? At that point now, what I'm really doing is changing the low backwards. So I might chunk it, I might skull it, I might fluff it. Who knows, I might do a whole lot of things. One of the things you want to do in your chip is from your nose to your navel, you want to get it set up for a righty just forward of the ball, over your front inside left leg. Now at that point, I'm able to hit down. And because this club has, somewhere in the 50s to low 60s degrees of loft, hitting down makes the ball go up. You don't need to help it up, you get tons of loft already in place. So a great drill you can do, a few inches behind the ball, but if I can just hit some chip play here and have to get more on top of the ball, that's just a really good training aid. If you struggle to consistently bottom out your club, making sure the ball goes up as you hit down, cool little training aid. Nothing more than just grabbing your towel off your bag or a old t-shirt or something where you put it just a little behind the ball and make sure you hit down on it. All right, let's have some fun now. Chipping is much more of a creative game than is, say, the golf swing. Some of this is just being creative. So what kind of traits do you want to develop when you're out in the yard and around the house? Well, I got some cool things set up. I've got a fun little chipping basket right here. It's got yellow in the middle, red, and then black. I want to try and see if nothing else, can I just chip it in the basket, trying to have a small target. Good first shot, made it. Okay, you want to see what you can do just to have something like that to aim at. I've also got kind of a lounge chair. I've got my golf bag. Well, so much of chipping is you've got to hit over a bunker, over a tree, over a mound. You got to get something up in the air. So what if we can chip it over the lounge chair? Bounce it off the lounge chair. That was fun. So trying to see if maybe I can hit balls between the lounge chair and my bag. Now I'll try and go over my bag. Pretty good right there. Those are just fun little creative games, trying to get relaxed, trying to stay soft. Let me give you a couple of specific things here. One big game here. The PGA Tour, Mark Brody is kind of the lead statistician there, came up with some really interesting data. They took collective input for the whole year, whole season of golf, and they found that the average tour player, and I'm sure it'd be the same on the LPGA, misses the green by 9 yards. That's a fact. So all the times guys have a terrible drive, have to chip it out, or they happen to hit it on the fringe, doesn't matter. That all morphs into a 9-yard miss. So guess what tour players need to be ultra proficient at? A 9-yard chip. Rumor is it's going to come down to 8 yards from last year. Anyway, I've now got to my front towel right there, that's an 8 yards. The back towel's 9. If you're going to work on chipping and you want something ultra specific, you want to copy the tour players, you need to work on hitting between 8 and 9 yards for your chip shot. Or 7. That's perfect. That's kind of right in that 8.5 number right there. The more you can do something like take 10 balls and see how long it takes you to get all 10 balls, not one at a time, but collectively when you're all done, you got to get all 10 balls to land in that basket, in that grid right there, in that corridor. Those are the kind of things that are going to get your chipping good, and you don't need to go to the golf course. You don't need a big area. Hopefully on the side of your house or somewhere nearby, you can have little short chip shots. It's a whole lot of fun. To kind of finish with, we did our laundry this weekend. We got the basket. Emptied all the clothes from it. That's my hardest shot. That's my 10-yard shot. You want to sit here now, try and make something land in the basket. Ooh, just missed. I mean, this is like being a kid. This is just having fun. You can put things out there like a shoe. You could put maybe a hat. Anything there that you can chip without breaking anything. Oh, those are great shots. Just barely missing. Got it. Get creative. Bring out your inner kid. Do some cute little games here where you're hitting short chips, flop chips, shots between towels, landing in different things like a basket. There's a whole lot of fun you can have doing this type of thing. So, thank you for participating with us today. World's biggest golf lesson. Really cool that collectively all the world right now, you've got thousands and thousands of golfers. And the goal is to try and get 1 million people watching Instagram Live on all the various channels by all the different instructors right now. This is a really good thing, that trying to raise money for direct relief, trying to help in our country to get as much help as we can to some of the victims of COVID and all the virus this has caused. So B1 Sports, you're awesome. This is great. Appreciate you letting me come on and do this at Mogg Academy. I'm Brian Mogg. This has been fun to help you. Thanks for tuning in, watching us. Let's get your golf game better. Don't be afraid around the house to do various things with your putter, with your wedge, like outside. Some of the training aids and drills, there's just little simple things you can do, and you can come out of this situation here without having played much golf lately. You can be a stud by the time you get out the course and start playing this spring. Thank you so much.